Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet.
Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and we are live on location in Chesty Puller's house. And Kim, what town are we in, by the way?
Saluda, Virginia.
Saluda, Virginia. Okay, we're there. If you don't know who Chesty is, he is the most decorated Marine in Marine Corps history. And today is a very, very special day. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, why are Marines so arrogant? And I said, well, when you're humble and you're the best at everything that we do, I mean, it just has to come out, right, Nate?
That's absolutely true. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, today is the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps, the greatest fighting force this planet has ever seen. Yeah, right? We do more with one weapon than most units can do with everything they have. Because our motto is one shot, one kill. It's just what we do. So Nate, thanks for being here. Kim.
Thank you.
Alex. Now, Kim and Alex own Chesty's house, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So when did you buy it?
We purchased it in June of 2022.
Nice. So Kim, I have to ask, the toughest job in the Marine Corps is supporting us. We're a little bit arrogant. We're a little crazy. So how has it been for you being around the Marine Corps? I mean, you've been around the Marine Corps how long?
Well, we've been married 32 years, so around that long. But I mean, I've had a military ID all my life, so I kind of grew up in the system, if you will, and had no clue what I was getting into when I got into it. But thick skin for sure.
Well, I've always said the greatest job in the military is the family, the spouse, the children, because you're back here keeping things going, being the mom, being the dad when dad's gone. So thank you for your service. Thank you for allowing Alex to do his job. And it's pretty cool you guys have Chesty's house. This house is beautiful. The energy is great. And Alex, you just got some new stuff you got online. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Wes, first of all, thank you again for coming back. I know it was almost a year ago today. I had the honor and pleasure of meeting you and doing the first podcast. And Nate, thank you. Nate's been a lifelong friend of mine since he first reported into our unit many, many years ago. But this last year has been incredible. We had the wonderful opportunity when General Gray, our 29th Commandant, who was really what transformed the Marine Corps to the warrior ethos we have today, sadly passed away last year. And I'd spent a lot of time with him at Headquarters Marine Corps back in the 80s on the staff of the Assistant Commandant. And it wasn't uncommon that we'd see each other every day. And in fact, there's a picture on the desk there of my wedding at Fort Myer at the Old Post Chapel with General Gray after retirement as one of our guests of honor. So when he retired, his entire estate went up for sale. And I was proud to have been able to grab his desk plate that has A.M. Gray that sat on his desk, a humidor from the White House that was presented to him from the Secret Service that's numbered 800 of something out of 1,000. Some other miscellaneous items there, as well as this office chair that has the Marine Corps logo on it, and that burgundy chair there. They were all from his house, and we dedicated this small area within what was the card room for Virginia Puller and her girlfriends to General Gray to pay homage to his contributions to the Marine Corps.
Nice, that's cool. Every room in this house is a step back in time. The pictures of Chesty, just different things. If you've never been here, it's something to see. And now you guys have a Facebook, right?
Correct. We are on Facebook, and I think I want to get this right, at Puller House, where you can follow us. That's where we will post when we have the home open for tours, visitors.
Yeah, that's cool. So let me ask you this, Nate. You said, you did 25 years in the Marine Corps?
Yes.
I mean, you're not the same person you were when you came in. You know, what does the Marine Corps mean to you? Tell us, what does that look like? Because I think it's different for everybody. There's a light side of the Marine Corps. There's a dark side of the Marine Corps. The dark side is when we come out, we have to figure out how to survive in this thing called life. As being a civilian is a little bit different than being in the Marine Corps, right?
Oh, absolutely. And for me, what the Marine Corps has meant, it's, from my from how I'm able to understand it and look back and see that what the Marine Corps provided me was a way to be resilient to get me where I'm at today. And I did kind of struggle a little bit as I transitioned out of the uniform, honestly, but I understood that was also potential for growth for me to be able to do what I do today, and that's to help other veterans when they transition out of service. But yeah, the Marine Corps, it was a blessing for me in a sense, and it got me out of Fargo, North Dakota, back in 1996. So
hey, it kept me out of jail. So the judge is like, son, I can't do anything to you. The Marine Corps is not going to do. Get out and don't come back. So I'm like, okay.
Absolutely.
So there's that. So Alex, what's life been like after getting out of the Marine Corps?
Well, until June of 2022, when we had the honor of purchasing, this was kind of a rebirth, bringing me back in the Marine Corps. There was that initial, you get out, and you still, as we say, piss and vinegar. But then what I noticed was as the years go by, that huge circle of those comrades and friends that you had, every November 10th, they get smaller and smaller. The emails start dying off. And then you don't understand the lingo anymore. You don't understand the technology. You no longer get Marine Times Magazine or Leatherneck Magazine, and you no longer go to balls because you just don't understand, how the Marine Corps changes it. And so for me, there was a sense of detachment. We acknowledged November 10th, my wife and I, but we really didn't do much beyond that. So ever since June 2022, when we became the proud owners of the Puller House, in fact, a few nights ago, I had the distinct honor of being the first time in my life a guest of honor at a Marine Corps ball, where all those years I served, I was a narrator or an adjutant, sword detail, and I got to be on the receiving end, and I stood there in reflection of life coming full circle and getting to be a guest of honor standing there on the stage while they're bringing the cake up, giving me that first slice before I pass it off to the younger Marine. These last 3 years has been a rebirth, a resurgence of what it means to be all that's good about being around Marines again. And so I'm so blessed and grateful that I got this opportunity because it's brought me back into the Marine Corps that I missed so much.
Yeah. Well, I just recently joined the Marine Corps League. So went to the Marine Corps ball. I drugged Kelsey. Kelsey's here. She went with me, and they have the oldest and the youngest Marine. Well, the youngest Marine was a PFC and E2 with a hash mark. He's been in 4 or 5 years, and he's an E2. I started laughing. She's like, why is that funny? I was like, because he got his ass in trouble. That's why. But we had a great time, and you're right. I look at some of the things where these guys have opportunities that we didn't. I mean, they have technology. It looks like they actually might have a budget now to spend money to do something. And I was reading something. They have this whole martial arts program. I'm like, you know what they did? They told us, I said, we have no budget. We have no cool tools. We don't have money to go train. You're just going to be a mean son of a bitch, and you're going to go kill people. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did, right? So it's kind of interesting seeing those things. Now, my Uncle Robert received the Medal of Honor in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive of 1968. And they have a tent at the time. So, gosh, I'm dating myself here. So in 1988, they dedicated a $10 million building to him. So that'd probably be like a $40, $50 million building now. But that is a training center, MCRD San Diego, where the Hollywood Marines are. The true Marines go to Camp Lejeune, the true Marines go to Paris Island. Just saying. Are you all?
So they could train with the women, right?
That's right. That's right. Hey, so I've seen some pictures of some of the Marines, the ladies in the Marine Corps lately. I was like, they didn't look like that when I was in. I'm like, all right, things are changing. Yeah. Things are changing. So what are you guys doing today to celebrate for the Marine Corps birthday and celebrate Chesty?
Well, today, this is our 3rd anniversary where the Marines of the Joint Task Force Civil Support out of Fort Eustis come here. We go to Chesty's grave at Christ Church here in Saluda, and we do a toast to Chesty. And then for the rest of the day, we have an open house where we're providing birthday cake, barbecue, cigars, a fire pit that will burn well into the night, and just listen to Marines from boot camp today to Vietnam, and if we're fortunate enough to have someone come by from Korea, is learning about the Brotherhood and hearing and exchanging 250 years of lore and legacy of the Marine Corps.
Nice. Well, I tell you, at the Marine Corps ball, I'm sitting at this table, and there's this master gunnery sergeant sitting there with 3 rows of medals on his chest, and Yeah, I don't even know what most of that stuff is. And plus, I'm colorblind, so it's not like I can look at it and say, oh, that's a service award or whatever. But the guy's 87 years old, and thinking about what that individual went through to receive that is incredible. And there was, I don't know, there's probably 20 or 30 people in that age group that were there. And man, I tell you what, a lot of those look like they could drop down and give you 50 today. I mean, that one guy, he was pretty thick. I'm like, all right. And we just had a really wonderful time. I think I'm going to like the Marine Corps League. When I walked in the room, somebody announced the meeting starts in 4 minutes and 32 seconds. So I'm like, hey, it's not like in the civilian life where we're 10 minutes past. Okay, we're going to give everybody another minute. And I'm like, okay. So, but I don't know. It's been interesting. I struggled when I got out of the Marine Corps. I had a hard time. I went in, I wasn't, how do you want to say it? I wasn't well-rounded, let's just put it that way. I think a lot of us weren't. And then when I got out, just missing that brotherhood and not knowing what direction I'm going in. And the reality is my dad's like, you need to have thick skin. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck you. I just did everything I did in the Marine Corps. I'm not tough enough for you. And the reality is I didn't know who I was. So one of the things that I've really enjoyed, I just turned 56, and even though I look 27, but I am 56, just saying. Marines are shockingly good looking on a good day. Right.
I understand what you're saying, because when he got out, like I adapted well, because most of my life as being a dependent wife, I made friends outside. I worked outside the home. I was able to make friends. He comes home now and he has to make his own friends. You were assigned a group of friends in the Marine Corps, people that you've hung with, right?
Yeah.
You were assigned them. And this is your family for the next 3-4 years, and you got to know them, and they came over and had dinner at your house or celebrated at your house for whatever reason, and they stuck together. And then all of a sudden, you're no longer in that position.
There's no more structure. There's no more, why do you let your kids run around and do that? My kids, there's such a transitional period. And she knows I struggled for quite some time because there was no longer the structure. There was no longer, if I can be here at 8 o'clock, why are they coming here at 8:15 and nobody's yelling? It's so hard because of especially the longer you're in. Your whole world exists around structure, discipline, and when you don't function in a world that does it anymore, we have a tendency to struggle with that.
Well, now you have to speak lingo to somebody who has no clue what you're talking about. You're so used to speaking to Marines and having friendship and having that connection. Now you got to go make friends with somebody out in the civilian sector that has no clue what you're even speaking. You're speaking a foreign language, so making friends was a struggle for him.
Oh yeah,
It
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I've had people my whole adult life say, I noticed everything. We're taught attention to detail, because attention to detail in the Marine Corps means you're going to go home. So I see everything. I pay attention, and I hear all the time, how did you see that? How did you do this? How do you see that? And I'm like, well, how do you not? So it's just different. It's a different mindset. One of the things I've noticed with technology now, we have this thing called Facebook, and I get to see my old roommates like Nix, and my buddy Hicks is now, he's a pastor down in Georgia. Hey, brother, if you're listening, I'm proud of you, but man, in the Marine Corps, you're questionable. He struggled just like all of us, and he's turned into this beautiful leader in his community, and he's changing things and doing stuff. My buddy Tom just bought some land out in Alaska, and he's doing some things, and it's kind of fun to see your brothers, your old roommates and stuff, doing things. But I also see a lot of guys from my unit they're just so angry still, and I'm so grateful that I don't carry that anger. And you see it in their posts, you see it in the way they walk. You can see it in their pictures. And I don't know what determines somebody starting to heal and release that stuff versus staying in their anger. Because for years I wanted to release it, but I didn't know how to. I guess it shows up when you're ready. What do you think, Nate?
Like listening to it, and what's coming to me is like, I think what I feel what worked for me was just acknowledging it first, right? And understanding that there's something there that's coming up for a reason, and something's coming up for me to notice to take action on something. And what the old me was used to doing was distracting myself from that, right? But now it's like, now I understand it, and which is helped me get to help that, which has helped me heal some of those things that has been affecting the way I've been operating. But now I'm in a place where, hey, it's something that I live every day now, and it's helped me to help others, which is be able to support others, which is something that I'm grateful to do. So
Sure. Yeah. Well, blood, guts, and glory, once you're out, doesn't work. It doesn't really work when we're in after a while, right? Because once I found when I got out, I was an inconvenience to my family. I was an inconvenience I had a baby on the way. I wasn't healed, and I didn't know how to shed that anger. I was talking today. I said, I think I was one of the only people that went to anger management courses on my own. I wasn't court ordered. And if you listen to this podcast is how life happens for you and not to you. And things will show up in your life on your darkest day is a learning opportunity for you if you open your eyes and look up to the light, right? And I like thinking that way these days. My life is better thinking that way these days. When I was in the Marine Corps, I think right when I got in, somebody said, son, you joined the Marine Corps to give your life for your country. And I remember thinking, I was like, bullshit. I joined the Marine Corps so somebody else could give their life for their country because I'm going home. But I didn't know, I never envisioned life after the age of 27. So when I got to age 27, I was so confused, right? But I don't think I'm as confused these days. What do you think? I'm pure love and light now, Alex. Pure love and light. I don't know why everybody's laughing. Kelsey's looking at me like that motherfucker. So
I think he's still drunk from a couple nights ago.
But it transcends so many decades, because even the things I have learned from having even this house alone was the transitional difficulty Chesty and Virginia had, moving, even doing everything that he did for the Marine Corps and moving on. And for her to be at where people tell me Marines would, after Chesty died, people would still come knock on her door, and she was in here greeting people all the time and having people in here, because that was her way, that was her connection. Even she might have been bitter there towards the end on his retirement or whatever the case, but it didn't reflect, that didn't change her. Mm-hmm. She welcomed everybody with open arms, no matter.
She knew how important it was to the legacy. To continue sharing it long after Chesty passed away. But she required him, I heard this the other day, she required him to at least be in Charlie's, or she would not let them come toward the home.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice. Yeah. Well, I think one of the coolest things that I've learned is the love story that Chesty and Virginia had. Mm-hmm. I mean, what was it? He courted her for 10 years?
He met her in the town of Urbana, where she went to school for the first time at a school dance, and I believe she was 16 years old. And that night he proposed to her, and she smiled like all of us get rejection. Like, are you crazy? You just met me. I'm not going to marry you. And he asked her for 10 years until she finally said, I do. I think he promised her 13 roses or tulips, orchids,
fresh
for
orchids
every week. And that went on for so many years until she finally said yes. I mean, it was a really beautiful love story.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And I think she was 16 and he was 27.
At least 26,
it's
at least 27.
Frowned upon now, but back then, that was the way they did it.
8 years younger.
Yeah. Hey, Chesty, you might go to jail these days, brother.
Sorry.
Yeah. But she's got they have this beautiful sun porch on the back here where I know she sat and she would read and wait for Chesty to come home from war. And you're telling me stories where he comes home and he's this general, he's this warrior, this badass. And I think in the Chosen Reservoir, he said something like, we've been looking for the enemy, now we're surrounded, so we're enemy rich in targets, or something of that nature. We can
fire in any direction. That simplifies the solution.
Yeah.
Several of those quotes. Yeah.
And he's here in his shorts with his long socks pulling weeds. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, he was definitely, from what I understand, learning more about him. He was not at home. He was the total 180 of that rough gruff. He was a gentle giant, very calm, very subdued with his kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And now he had 2 children, right?
He had 3. Virginia was the firstborn. Then he had twins, Louis Jr. and Martha. Sadly, Louis Jr. passed away in the later 90s. Mm-hmm. He's buried in Arlington. But Martha still resides down in Alexandria with her husband, General Downs. And Another quick story. For the last 3 or 4 years that we've had the honor of doing this, I was always reluctant when I've seen Martha at the annual Christ Church event celebrating his birthday, knowing that she's the one that discovered her brother's body after he committed suicide, the struggles with the legacy of her father, and she held her mother in this home in 2006 when she took her final breath. So I never pushed asking her to come to the house because we had thousands of questions about what was this, what was that. And then earlier this summer, I'm out there burning some leaves, and this car comes down the driveway. And out comes Mrs. Puller and General Downson. I'm texting her like, Martha Puller just pulled up. She gets out, she comes inside, and then she does this 180 like a little 5-year-old girl. Oh, that's where me and Virginia stood at the top of the stairs and realized there's no longer a Santa Claus. When we saw Father unloading the gifts. Oh, and this is where we pushed the AC out the window, and Father came up. It was watching her a flood of memories. And that's when I realized I should have invited her before. It was not about the pain and the agony, and she was reliving all these memories. So it was so wonderful having her in the home for the first time since 2006.
And sorry, what was his son's name again?
Lewis Jr.
Yeah. Now, Lewis was a highly decorated Marine in Vietnam, right?
Well, he was highly decorated in the sense that in his very short first tour, he stepped on a booby trap, lost his legs and partial hands, but had written a book called Fortunate Son about growing in the shadow and legacy, not choosing to be compared to his father, but having to fall into that lifestyle, and which became a Pulitzer Prize-winning book.
Oh, wow.
And it's on our bookshelf, proudly displayed with his autograph in there, dedicating it. But sadly enough, again, he passed away in 96, I believe it is, and buried in Arlington. But again, as the developments go, we had the honor of meeting his son, Chesty's grandson, back in June. We had heard that Louis III participates in the Chesty Puller run at West Point, but doesn't want any acknowledgement, recognition, no announcement. And the word got back to him that for 3 years we've been trying to find him, and I'm sitting there passing out medals as they're coming across the finish line. This gentleman walks up, sunglasses, beard, mustache, a little bit of pot belly, holding a beard. Saying, I'm Louis Jr. III. Why did you looking for me? I'm like, I didn't know whether to snap to attention or salute him, but just welcomed him, let him know what we're doing. And he goes, yeah, I spent a lot of summers out there in the backyard running around the trees. I said, we would love to have you come over. This is your home. We'd love to have you come over and spend some time here. And he was thankful for that. But so we're making a lot of progress and learning more about the family.
Nice. That's cool. That's cool.
I think my part in the whole thing is pushing the Virginia agenda, if you will, because she was such a strong wife and mother. Martha would say, my mom was a disciplinarian, but my dad would come home at night and sneak us cookies in his pocket and hand them to us. He was the sweet one, and she was the disciplinarian, and that's how our house ran, because this is the longest house that he's ever lived in. They were 10 when he retired, and they moved in here.
Yeah.
It's in the 50s, so this was the longest they ever resided anywhere. So it really does hold some good and bad memories, but it sounds like really great memories.
Yeah, they sound like very interesting people. They definitely loved each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty cool love story. So I don't know if anybody can hear it on the podcast, the people in the back. There's lots of folks in the house touring and stuff. So I just wanted to say thank you for inviting us back. Thank you for inviting us in your home, making us feel like part of the family. And I've enjoyed it. I go out there and I see these old guys sitting around the fire and they're talking about when they served, and that's when I served. I'm like, why does everybody look old but me? I don't know.
But when you think about today being the 250th birthday, and if you watch the Commandant and Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps' birthday message video, it focused on the legacy. It wasn't your typical birthday message, but it really focused on the legacy. And I thought, well, yeah, we could go to Mount Fuji and see Suribachi. We can go to D.C. and see the Iwo, but there's very few places where we can actually go that speak of legacy, as such as the home of Lieutenant General Chesty Puller.
That's
and
right.
so we thank you for sharing this with us, and you're always welcome. You got open carte blanche anytime you want to come here and share this, because this is, I told a lot of Marines yesterday, I'm just the caretaker. This is just as much your home as it is ours. This is a big part of our history and our legacy, and we would just want to carry that into the future.
Nice. Well, thank you. Nate, I love you, brother. You're a good
Too,
friend of me.
man. Yeah. No, I'm so happy that we're doing this. I mean, yeah, like I said, I can't believe like almost 30 years ago I bumped into Alex. Bumped into him.
Yeah,
He used to be my boss. Here we are.
And he's been a part of our family the whole entire time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Nate has long hair and facial hair, and so I've never seen him in uniform until I think yesterday, day before you put some pictures on Facebook. I'm like, look at this guy, man.
I used to clear up pretty good. So
Yeah. So everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you, and Semper Fi.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi.
Happy birthday, Maurice.
Hurrah. 250 years.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.